Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, and I'm back in Jamul again for another early morning hike. Here at the edge of the San Diego National Wildlife Refuge, right here on Proctor Valley Road, here in, again, Jamul. My goal today is to get up to Jamul Mountain, the high point of the range, up here in the Jamul Mountains to our south. So yes, I'm parked right by where you saw that gate. I'm going to see if I can get up to the Jamul Mountains High Point, and maybe a couple of the little summits nearby. Not expecting there's going to be much of a view because it is a very low cloud cover. The cloud cover is very low, so I'm not expecting many views today. But let's see. Should make this an interesting morning out here. We're going to go right through these rushes here. Let's see what kind of type these are. Yeah, these are the southwestern spiny rushes here. Juncus acutus, subspecies Leopoldii, very common here in Southern California. So let's see how this works today. It's basically a straight shot. I mean, there are a couple small turns, but it's almost a straight shot right through here to the ridge line. Just got to get to the ridge line. Basically followed up the ridge line. There are a couple of subsidiary summits surrounding Jamul Mountain High Point I might try to visit. So we'll see how that works today. Very damp morning. There was some drizzle last night. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some more today. Kind of keeping my voice down because of the fact that people live in the area, so I'm not trying to be all loud and stuff. So we'll see. I'm still a video behind. I did 2 videos on the 21st. I didn't go out on the 28th. Almost did. But I still have 1 video from the 28th I still need to upload. It's edited and everything. I never got to upload it. That was also in Jamul. Hopefully I'll have that up before this one. Let's see. So I was going to go to the right of these homes. Trying to keep it down a little bit. I got to find a trail that kind of forks off on the other side of the properties. And then it's going to start heading up towards the ridge. Okay. Keep you posted. We'll see how this turns out today. Alright, so I'm going to do that. This tamarisk here is a fork. I'm going to take the right fork to stay a little further away from the properties. I should be able to run into another branch that goes this way. So eventually I'm going to need to head that way. A little bit to the east to grab the main ridge trail. But I'm going to do this just to kind of keep a berth in the properties. This should be able to meet up higher up along the ridge line. Well, not on the ridge line, but before we get to the ridge line. Alright. Let's see how this works out. Alright, so I'm still following this narrow trail. Should be able to get to a junction where I can go left. probably soon, I would imagine. So I can head that way and then join the main trail going up the ridge line. It's probably an old 4x4 road back in the day. Think about Jamul Mountain itself. It's a P1K, a prominence of 1,000 feet. Okay, looks like I found my trail branching off to the left here. Shoes are already pretty wet. Didn't take much. So, as I was saying, Jamul Mountain is a P1K, which is hiking and mountaineer term for a peak of prominence of 1,000 feet. Which is pretty impressive. Okay, let's see. Trying to see. I think this might be my trail here. I think. Trying to think if this is it. There's a trail going off this way. Let me see. Let's see if this is my trail. This might be it here. All I know is that I needed to head up the ridge layer. So let's see. There's a fence there. Looks like it goes for a while. I'm trying to stay outside of that. All right. I'm hoping this is the one that takes me up. I can't even see it from here. This is very low level overcast. This is gonna be one of those days where I don't think I can get a good thumbnail of the peak. Well, for those trying to hike it, it's the one that should be off in this direction here with a pretty prominent high point with a smaller, slightly lower high point to its west, which is peak, I call it peak 1900 because it's about 1,900 feet in elevation. And I was thinking that would be a potential hike as well. So yeah, I'm trying to stay outside of that fence. I'm hoping I can get to the ridge line by following this. I think I'm going to come out pretty soaked after this hike. We'll see. We'll see. This should be interesting. All right. All right, we'll see. There's another trail coming from there. Huh. I guess this is the way I go right here. Okay, well, maybe this is an area for cattle, I don't know. So I think I'm supposed to be heading up this way. Okay, keep you posted on my progress. All right, I'm coming upon another intersection of trails. I think this one came from near the houses. see if this is the trail. It's going to lead me up into the hills. I think so. Looks like it's heading towards where I'd expect it to head. Okay, here's another intersection here. Intuition is telling me branch off to the right over here. Should be heading myself up into the hills. So let's see. This heads me to the high point. I think this is it. I think this is going to be the Ridgeline Trail. Wow. Lots of little ups and downs. Another junction here. Alright. So I'm going to go head up this way. This should head me up into the mountains. Cool. Okay. Here I go again. Alright, so one thing you'll notice if you try this hike, you're going to be seeing lots of trails crisscrossing. So this is a hike you're going to definitely want to study before you just come out here and do it, because there are lots of little trails that cut in and cut out. So just be aware of that if you're trying to do this hike. Check out the maps. Maybe even try to do a GPX file if you're not comfortable in navigating. Alright, there's a gate with a sign up ahead. This doesn't look good. There's a sign on it too. This could be the end of the road. Oh boy. I think it just says closed area for motor vehicles. Doesn't look like it's anything too menacing. Yeah. No e-bikes, no motorbikes, and no vehicles. That's all it is. Okay, well, that doesn't concern me, so I don't do any of that stuff. All right. Onward and upward. See you at my next update point. Starting to get some views opening up a little bit below us. It's all part of Jamul right there. And off to the northeast, that's the Jamul Casino. So, and that's the area I was hiking last time I was out. Hopefully that video will be up by the time I get this one up. Alright, see up the way. See what else I find. Okay, next thing I want to consider is, how will I know I'm actually on the peak? Yes, I probably should have invested in GPS, GPX, stuff like that. But for somebody low tech like me, well, I know I'm actually on the peak in this type of visibility. I'm heading up to the bottom of the cloud layer right now. It's a very low cloud deck. The top of the peak is 2,056 feet, according to Peak Bagger. Topo map says 2,059. So this Peak Bagger has changed some of the elevations. Over the last few months. So it says LiDAR used to calculate the height of the peaks in the database. So on the topo maps, Jamul Mountain High Point is listed as 2,059. Peak Bagger, according to the LiDAR used, says to the 2056. So some peaks went down in elevation, some actually went up. So maybe there'll be a summit register. This peak does get some visitation periodically, so that should be a good thing. As so far, this route isn't overtly steep. It's got a few moderate inclines. Nothing extreme so far. So we'll see. Like I said, since I rely on my own navigation, I'm hoping there's a summit register on it, so I know for a fact with this low visibility that I'm actually there and not on a false peak. It's kind of what I'm banking on right now. Yeah, it's always good. I mean, it's probably good to have GPS and GPX files and stuff like that, but it's never a complete substitute for knowing your route beforehand, because technology can and will fail at some point. So it's always good to know your route. Know your route by studying maps or studying using the technology at home like Google Earth. So you get to a certain point, you're going to turn left here. At a certain point, you're going to go straight. Next point, you're going to go right. Look at the trails from above. So, technology is not, I would say technology is an aid, not the cure-all for getting around. Knowing your route beforehand and then using it as a backup. But yeah, use your acquired knowledge of the area as your primary method for getting around. Okay, so now let's see. So again, we got little forks here. This is probably where a GPX would probably be a good idea, but I'm pretty sure these trails split and meet, and it's still heading up the ridgeline. It's a very fragrant ridgeline, chock full of lots of blooming white sage right now. There's a lot of white sage up here. A lot of white sage and a lot of laurel sumac. A lot of laurel sumac up here too. Ooh, what do you have? Weeds Mariposa lily? Yes. Calocortis weedii variety weedii hasn't opened up for the day yet. Actually got weeds. That's the first weeds Mariposa lily I've seen of the year, 2025, which is cool. I can see a bigger mountain mass up ahead, so far I'm pretty confident in my route. Yeah, some more weeds Mariposa lily, small population here along this ridge. All right, let's see how much of a downhill we have. So since we are following a ridge line, expect ups and downs. On the way to the peak, none of the downhills so far have been really hardcore. In other words, when you come back, you shouldn't, as of this point, shouldn't have any big uphill drudges. Just some small spurts here and there. This one might be a little different. I don't know. We'll see. I said I'm just glad to be out here and getting some fresh air. Yeah, my pants are pretty damp right now. Because everything's damp from the drizzle and mist. Alright. Yeah, this isn't a really severe downhill. It's just a very gentle one. This is going to be an out and back hike. I haven't planned on a loop version of this. Especially with the other subsidiary peaks that I might visit are connected by trail spurs that branch off from this main ridge trail to get to the other subsidiary summits. So I might have to climb back over some of the peaks a couple times. Some of them, especially Jamul Mountain itself, if I want to get to the subsidiaries. But yeah, very nice. It's very peaceful out here. Yeah, lots of white sage. You got California sagebrush too. There's quite a bit of it out here too. So it's very fragrant, especially because it's very damp. Yeah, I could feel my socks are getting already wet. So here we go. Away I go for more of this hike. So I'll see you along the way. Alright, so as I'm going along, my pants are completely drenched in mist. So as I keep climbing up this, what do we have growing here? Still got some bloom action going on, despite being in June when we're going to our dry season. Let's see. Well, first off, we have a California wood sorrel here. It'll probably be going dormant pretty soon. It's Oxalis californica. And we still have some blooms on the San Diego bush sunflower, the Bahiopsis laciniata. We still got some blooming on that. So we still got that going. The white sage is starting to go into its peak. The white sage. And we still have one little golden euro right there. Still a little something going on it. I think, yeah. Looked like golden euro. Could be something else. Oh, and we're finally come to our first chaparral shrub of the day. This is a common chamise, of course, Adenostoma fasciculatum, variety fasciculatum. Just starting to bloom. Small 5-petal white flowers. So yeah, that was our first chaparral shrub of the day. So that means we're probably gonna have more chaparral up soon. I'm assuming probably Mission Manzanita, probably be another one. That's one I tend to come across a lot here in the Jamul area, in the chaparral hills. But so far, that was the first and only chaparral shrub I've seen up till this point. But I see more chaparral up ahead. We've been in coastal sage scrub all the way up until this point, pretty much. It's a very lovely hike. I said views are going to be pretty much non-existent. And like I said, I'm hoping there's a summit register on the top of Jamul Mountain, so I know I'm there without having to second guess myself. But I think I'll probably have a good idea that I'm there. So I think there's a pretty decent summit push, because it does have a pretty roughly pyramid shape. Wow, my pants are soaked. Oh, see, now we're in the chaparral. Now we've just changed vegetation, and there's a lot less brush on the side, so maybe I'll have a chance for my legs to not get wetter. So yeah, now we got Ceanothus tomentosus, woolly ceanothus, making an appearance. Some more common chamise blooming. And yes, just as I suspected, Mission manzanita, as we are now in the chaparral. All right, I'm gonna keep on climbing, switch out some batteries, and I'll see you on my next update. All right, now we got a scrub oak, a Quercus acutidens. Okay, there wasn't a lot of scrub oak in the other Jamul hikes, but there we got some nice specimens. Yeah, Quercus acutidens, right along this trail. So yes, very beautiful scrub oak. So cool. I'm glad there's some scrub oak up here too. So I did Lexington Peak. I don't remember seeing a lot of scrub oak. That's not that far from this area. In fact, I'm parked maybe about a mile, roughly a mile from the trailhead I used to get up there on the other side of these hills and valleys. Its own little small range of hills. Yeah, terrain's opened up quite a bit. Wow. I'm just so glad to be finally getting away from the really super dense trailside brush that's been getting me soaked. All right. It looks like this was an old 4x4 road. Old Jeep road from back in the day. That's a wider trail too. I'm kind of glad. I see. You can kind of see a dark mass over there. I don't know if that's going to be it or it's going to be a false peak. So far this trail has not been exceedingly steep, but I'm assuming it'll probably get steeper before the final push. We're at the final push. All right, well, I'm going to keep on climbing this, see you up the way. Okay, so I can see that mass. Definitely going to steepen up quite a bit. So this is where the hike will probably go from the relatively easy to the moderate category. We've got an actual manzanita. What we got here? I suspect this is a type of Eastwood manzanita, probably. Might be the regular subspecies, I don't know. But yeah, we actually have an Arctostaphylos here. Okay, so let's see. That's pretty cool. All right. This is where it definitely gets steeper. So just take your time. And not rush it. So far, honestly, this hike's been in the upper end of easy so far. Upper end to near the low end of moderate. This will probably push it up a little bit, but anybody with even moderate amount of fitness should be able to handle this. It's just knowing how to navigate the trails. So the physical part's moderate, low end of moderate. The navigational part of it is a little bit, maybe a little more challenging. Not used to the area. But yeah, get some more manzanitas popping up. Yeah, I suspect that these are Eastwoods. They look like they might be the regular subspecies. Coloration is really bluish gray. I'll have to look into that. All right. See at the top of this steep rise here. Let's see what I find up here. I think we have mund sage growing up here. Yeah. Yeah, this looks like Salvia munzii. I had to rub the leaves to make sure it wasn't Cleveland sage. No, it appears we got mund sage up here too. And something about those manzanitas, though, those Arctostaphylos shrubs. There's something I'm gonna have to really take a look at seeing. Yeah, we got more, looks like mund sage. Yeah, Salvia munzii. Yeah, we got mund sage growing up here. Had to make sure it wasn't black sage. I have not seen black sage anywhere around this area, but it appears we got mund sage growing up here. Haven't seen that in a long time. Haven't seen that in over a year. Still blooming a little bit. But yeah, something about this manzanita. I'm gonna have to double check. I have to make sure this isn't a rare local endemic called Otay manzanita. Because I know we're not that far from Otay Mountain. That could potentially be something I need to take a look at an identification. So I don't know. I'm wondering if that could be Otay manzanita. I don't know if it grows in the Jamul Mountains, but I will be taking a look at that to see if that is possibly here. If that's the case, that'd be a first for me. Okay, so I'm near the top of a hill here. At the top of a hill. I'm gonna go to the top of this and see what's going on here. Man, now we're in a lot of mund sage. A lot of mund sage up here. I don't know if this is it. There's a little structure up here. I don't know if this is it though. If it is, it was a very gradual ascent to get up here. I'm going to look around for a summit register. But we're on the top of a peak. Yeah, this is where having GPS or GPX would be helpful. So I know I'm on the top of what I aim to climb. There's a weird structure up here. I think this is it. Trying to see if I see a register or something. Looks like an awful lot of effort. I don't see a summit register, I don't think. Walk around these bushes a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see a summit register in there. I think this is it. I'm almost afraid of just leaving it at that. I am a little afraid of leaving it at that and just assuming that I made it to the summit. I guess we'll take a summit selfie or something up here. I think this is it. I think this is Jamul Mountain. But again, no summit register saying, oh yeah, this is Jamul Mountains High Point. So I'll go ahead and take a summit selfie here. I might just poke around a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna leave the summit area, this summit area. I'm gonna continue down because from the summit there should be a trail going the other way, leading to the other peaks in the area. So I don't know whether I should celebrate or not. a little at a loss for words there. I mean, wait a minute. Yeah, there's something up ahead. Whoa, a little slippery. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced about that yet. So I might be striking that selfie from the register. I think that was a false summit. In fact, I see a mountain mass over there. So I think I might strike that selfie from the record. Yeah, there's another mass up ahead. That looks like it might be a little bit higher because I've only come downhill a short distance. Okay. Yeah, I'm not convinced about that now. Very unconvinced. So, I'm going to head up this way. Like I said, this is actually where having a GPX file would be helpful in knowing that you're at a spot, especially when it's socked in like this. When I first got up there, I mean, we're pretty socked in, but I didn't see any big mountain mass ahead of me. So maybe I have a bit more to go, because I was also looking to see if I could find a trail branching off to the west. There should be a trail that branches off to the west that visits the other peaks. So there will be another trail going off. So I got some terrain up there. So, well, yeah, see, I didn't want to celebrate too early. I took a summit selfie just in case. All right, well, I'm just going to keep on climbing up this and see what happens next. Oh, what do we have growing here? Heartleaf pitcher sage. Oh, yes, a.k.a. cardiophila. I have not seen this plant in years. Last time I saw it was in the Santa Ana Mountains in Orange/Riverside County, where there's an outlying population of this. It's in bloom too. This is a.k.a. cardiophila. Heartleaf pitcher sage. Did a small video on it, I think it was in 2019. It wasn't really a full spotlight video. Yeah! I knew I saw something that was some interesting blooms on it. I was thinking to myself, no way. Yes way. And there's something else interesting up the trail too. So heartleaf pitcher sage, a.k.a. cardiophila. That's a rare plant. Very scattered in San Diego and Orange and maybe western Riverside counties. That's a rare plant right there. And yes, I didn't know we'd find it here in the Jamul Mountains, but yes, it's only my second time ever seeing this plant. Southern mountain misery. Camebatia australis. Yes! It's only the second time I've ever seen this plant in my life. Oh yeah! Camebatia australis. It grows up here too. It's more famously known from its population on San Miguel Mountain, which is very close by. But it's here in the Jamul Mountains too. I saw this from about 100 feet down the trail, saw the texture of it, and I was thinking, yep, the botany is going to get very interesting. And even before I even got to this, seeing the heartleaf pitcher sage, that just leveled up like 20 times right now. So we got southern mountain misery. Now, despite all the hikes I've done here in San Diego County, and I've done lots of hikes here, it's only the second time I've ever come across Camebatia australis. The other time was along the Iron Mountain Trail in the Powell region, the Powell area. And so we got more heartleaf pitcher sage. Yes, indeed. Very interesting stuff going on here. Very interesting botany up here in the Jamul Mountains. Very interesting botany. Both the pitcher sage and the mountain misery are very rare endemic Southern California natives. Only found in Southern California. Very, very narrow endemic species. So, yes, the Jamul Mountains have them too. All right. Well, my day just went from pretty good to pretty gosh darn awesome. So I'm climbing here up Jamul Mountain. This is turning out to be quite an interesting day. All right. Very interesting day. All right. I see another mountain mass back there. Okay. Well, we got going on. And another level of interest. Another rare Southern California plant. Chaparral pea, Picarengia montana variety or subspecies tomentosa. It's in seed right now. I missed the flowers, but it's in seed. These are legumes. It's in the pea family, the Fabaceae. So that's another rare Southern California endemic. I think it's another rare plant. I'm not sure how far that one ranges. It might range a little bit more than the other plants. But I know our subspecies is tomentosa. Ours is the fuzzier version. Yeah, these are full-blown chaparral peas. Probably missed it by about a month and a half. Should have done this in April. But man, I just hit a trifecta of awesomeness, of awesome, rare Southern California plants. If that manzanita checks out, that could be 4. That could be Otay manzanita, but I'm not sure. All right, so we're hitting the next steep push right here. I suspect this might be the final push. I don't know yet, but wow, the botany here is absolutely bonkers. This is a really good spot. It looks like we got those sticks that are sticking up. Look like some type of Matiliha poppy. Probably Rhamneotricha calyx. But it looks like might be past the blooms on those. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's cool to be blindsided by botany. Sure is. But yeah, we got some Matiliha poppies up here. I'm assuming these are Rhamneotricha calyx. The hairy Matiliha poppy. They're growing right here along the side of the trail. It's best to see them when they have flower buds on them. They're past that now. They have a few flowers left on them. Okay, this part's a little steep and loose. The rocks here. Just pay attention. Pretty cool. All right. I'll see you when I'm at the top of this rise. Oh, before I'm at the top of the rise, we still have flowers on this chaparral pea. They're your flowers. Beautiful purple flowers. Again, this is Picaringia montana tomentosa. Yeah, they still have a few flowers here and there. Wow. Here's more of that Lepikinia cardiophylla, heartleaf pitcher sage. Yeah, there might be a spotlight video or two happening today. Oh, yes, indeed. All right. Time to keep climbing up this. All right. Crowning the top of this hill here. Oh, no, I still got a little more up ahead. Wow. The botany up here. Didn't expect this. Did not expect this. Bunch of botanical awesomeness up here. That was a little steep part right there. So I'm catching my breath a little bit. Yeah, I see another big mountain mass up ahead. Okay. And we do have Cleveland sage up here too. It's this one. So we got Munns and Cleveland sage. I can smell the perfumey smell. So we got Salvia clevelandi up here too. Okay. Wow. Whew. This is turning into a rare botany tour of Southern California. Pretty awesome. Yeah, I got another little mountain mass up here. This is wild. Starting to get soaked again. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, this is a hairy Montaliha poppy. These buds are bristly. Yeah, this is Rhamnia trichocalyx. Yep. I had a feeling it would have been trichocalyx. If it were Rhamnia coulteri, those buds wouldn't have the little bristles on them. And it'd be like a little beak-like protrusion on the top of it. Yeah, this has been one heck of an adventure. Heartleaf pitcher sage, Southern mountain misery, chaparral pea. Oh boy. Yeah, something about that manzanita too. Makes me wonder. Oh, hiking the Jamul Mountains ain't no joke. And the next rare plant. Wow, this just keeps on hitting left and right. Yes. Now we got San Miguel Savory. It's been years since I've seen this one too. Clinipodium chandleri. It's blooming up here too. San Miguel Savory. Named for its discovery on San Miguel Mountain nearby. So this is another rare endemic plant here to Southern California. Wow! This is crazy. Yeah, it's blooming too. The heartleaf pitcher sage and the San Miguel Savory are both related to the true sages, and they're in the mint family, the Lamiaceae. Wow! Yeah, the soil. This must be that type of soil. There must be gabbro in this soil. I think this is mafic soil. It doesn't have that reddish color I expect, but a lot of these plants grow better on those soils, especially the mountain misery, especially that one. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. And we got red monkey flower here too. Diplocus punaceus. Oh man. Ooh, this part's steep. Ooh boy. Woo! All right. This part's steep. All right. I'm gonna give the camera a break. Catch my breath. Before I do, here's another patch of San Miguel savory, a perennial subshrub with a very aromatic scent. All right, see you up the way. Woo! This is definitely up in the moderate category now. Yeah, this part is steep, very steep. Oh boy. Kind of expected it because I've seen the shape of this mountain from other areas. It has that prominent pointy shape, so you have to expect there's going to be some steep stuff on the way up. Wow, this is incredible. All right. Almost at the top of this rise. I don't know whether to expect another false summit. That one sapped me. Yeah, there's more up ahead. Yeah, there's a whole mountain mass up ahead too. Whew. Yeah, there's more up ahead. Okay, I think I need to dip into my first water. Woo-wee! This part of the hike's no joke. All right, let's see what's up ahead. Just a short distance after that. I'm almost at the top of this rise here. Let's see. Is there gonna be another huge mountain mass ahead of me? Can't tell yet. Can't tell. I think so. Yeah, I think there's another one. Yeah. Over there. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This one's got a little challenge to it. Yeah, I can see another mass back there. Hoo-wee. All right. Hey, yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm well into my climb on this rise. Just wondering what awaits me on top of this. Thickleaf yerba santa, still blooming a little bit up here. Some Eriodictyon crassifolium, variety crassifolium. Haven't pointed this out much, even though I have seen several. Spiny redberry. You know I gotta point this out. It's like part of my routine. Alright. So, is there another big mountain mass after this? It kind of reminds me of hiking Viejas Mountain, only less elevation gain. Keep thinking, especially if you're hiking in the fog, keep thinking you're getting there. And I'm talking about the South Ridge hike of Viejas. Keep thinking you're there, getting there, but you're not. Okay. So is there going to be another mountain mass after this? Let's see. I think so. Yeah, there's something up ahead. There's like a big stick sticking out of the ground. I wonder if that's going to be it. It's a pretty short distance away. Looks further than it is because the fog kind of distorts your perspective a little bit. Kind of hoping that's it. Not gonna lie, final summit push definitely had its challenges. So this is a good hike. If you want some easy parts and some challenging parts. It's not steep the whole entire way, but it is definitely a challenge the higher up you get. When you're mostly in the sage scrub down lower, it's pretty gentle. Some ups, some slight downs. Alright. I see a big wooden sign. Where did I see it? Alright. I think this is it. Finally think this is it. Yeah, I think this is Jamul Mountains High Point. Looks like old ruined summit register, some glove. All right, so this is it. Jamul Mountains High Point, or Jamul Mountain. 2,056 feet. So I gained maybe a little bit more than 1,000 feet to get up here. Yeah, there's an old summit register can. It's all dilapidated. And the summit register is all wet and destroyed. All right. Finally, I'm up here. Let me find a place to sit down if there is a comfortable spot and get some water. So, yep, finally made it up to Jamul Mountain. I want to come up here. I'm glad I made it up here today. So when you see this wooden stake, you know you're at the high point of the Jamul Mountains. Cool. Another mountain range hiked. Another mountain range loved. As I said, if you're looking for a challenge, botanical beauty, potential great wildlife sightings, this is it. Pretty happy I made it up here. Now I'm going to go actually take an official summit selfie. Unfortunately, I really can't give you any views. That's usually one of the main things I do on the summit. On the summit when I make it to a peak. So I'm just going to do just a brief little 360. I'm wondering if these clouds are starting to break up. I don't know. It's starting to lighten a little bit, but so I'll go ahead and north, roughly north. roughly west, roughly south, roughly east, back to the north. All right. Well, I made it to the summit. Really cool up here. It's a nice peak. Wondering if I should even bother going to the other peaks. What I'll have to do is find a trail that heads down to the west. I'd have to look for that. So we'll see. I'm just glad to be up here, that's for sure. I want to see if I can find a comfortable place to sit down. Take a break. As you can tell, my pants are drenched wet. Alright, so yeah, I'm right here near the summit. Looking to see if I can find a use trail. There's supposed to be a use trail to get to the other peaks in the area. I don't know if I see one from here. There's no chance in heck I'm trying to bushwhack today. Not a chance. So maybe I'll go down from the peak a little bit and see if there's a little branching off trail to my west. Wow. I see the sun's starting to burn the marine layer away. Trying to see. I think the trail ends up here actually. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, the trail basically ends here. There's supposed to be something heading to the west to get me to some of the other peaks. I'm gonna have to maybe poke around a little bit. It looks like the marine layer is trying to thin out a little bit up here. Let me see. Let me just go back down from the summit just a tiny bit. So this is from whence I came. This is where I was approaching the summit. There's supposed to be a trail going this way. Let me see. Branch off here. Let's see if this is it. If not, I'm not going to worry about it too much because I am not planning on bushwhacking today. I don't feel like bushwhacking at all today. Alright. Like actual bushwhacking, I'm not in the mood for that today. Especially because it's so damp out here. There is supposed to be a use trail going down this side towards a saddle, and there's supposed to be another peak. So like I said, if the sun were out, or it weren't so foggy over here, I'd be able to see it easily, probably. Let's see. Yeah, this might not be a trail here either. I just don't want to go down 3/4 of this mountain and then go, oh, where am I? And then end up in some random gully or something. Yeah, this doesn't look like a trail either. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'm not taking chances. I'm not taking chances. Like I said, if the sun were out, I'd probably be able to see the peak. The other peak I wanted to climb, at least one of the peaks I wanted to climb. There's really no visibility over here. Otherwise, I'd probably be trying to make an attempt at it. So that's looking east. So it should be off in this direction. But I can't see anything. Oh, interesting. Nice spiny redberry. Okay. Yeah. I said I don't see a trail leading off to the west. All right. See, I don't want to overdo it. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't find a use trail. I did wander around for a few minutes. Like I said, I can't even see any of the other peaks off to the west from here because of the overcast. It's starting to thin out a little bit here. Maybe give it about a half an hour, if even that, and then I'll start heading back. If I can find a clear path to get over there, that'd be great. At least get another peak visit out of it today. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start heading back. I don't know how much longer it's going to be before this opens up. And I feel like I kind of want to keep moving. Yeah, so there should be a mountain mass out there, but I don't see anything from here. Like I said, it's still pretty socked in. The fact that the sun is shining a little more strongly through the cloud layer seems to indicate that we are thinning out. All right, well, I'm going to start working my way back, I guess, from here. I also want to take some time on the way back, maybe film a spotlight video or two, because there are definitely some spotlight opportunities in this area. Plants that still have blooms on them. Maybe we'll hit them up before it's too late. This is a great opportunity to record some plant videos, which have been sorely lacking in my repertoire. What's this here? Found another trail. I think I found the use trail. All right, so right at this junction here, probably about a football field away, seems to be another trail branching off to the west, the direction I wanted to go. This is the direction from whence I came, up here. This should be the trail I came hiking. Yeah. So, pretty short distance away from the post, I found what looks like a trail branching off. So, this way to the summit. Let's go figure this out. Let's go see this, because this is another use trail right here. I think. Yeah, this is going down towards the west. So when I get back to the top of this, I'll have to go to make a left turn. Yeah, it seems to be going down a different direction. It can be a little disorienting in the fog. So I'll have to climb back up this when I'm done with the other peak. So let's see. All right. Just gonna head down this and see how we do. Yeah, so I'm heading west. Almost didn't even notice this. So to visit the other peaks, that junction is north, or if you're coming in from the south, if you're heading south coming from the north, before you hit that metal post, you'll see the metal post up ahead, but then you'll see this trail branching off to your right if you're coming from the northern ridge, like I did. Some people actually head up to Jamul Peak or Jamul Mountain from this direction. It's definitely a lot looser here, so just watch your step, especially going downhill. So this should lead me down towards a saddle, and then there should be a trail going up the other side. So we'll see how that works out. There should be a trail heading up the east side of peak 1900. It's just a few feet above 1900 feet. All right, let's see. Keep it going. Ooh, coming down, this is loose. Very loose. Just be prepared if you're trying to go down the west ridge to get to the neighboring peaks. Be prepared. It's steep and loose. And you got to climb back up it again if you're coming the way I came. Pretty sure going up it, it'll be more strenuous because it's climbing uphill and steep, but usually feels looser and more slippery on the downhill. So I'll be climbing back up this probably about a good 300 feet, probably, once I get back to the saddle down at the bottom and climb back up this. Already kind of slipped once. Yeah, it's no joke, so be careful. Watch your step. A lot of loose rocks. The dirt underneath is not extraordinarily loose, but all the small pebbles make it kind of tricky underfoot. So yeah, so I got that nice climb coming back, going up. But sometimes when you visit other peaks that are lower than the first peak you visit, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. All right, keep you updated along the way. It's mellowed out quite a bit. Should be approaching a saddle and then another uphill to peak 1900. All right, so I'm near the saddle, which is about 1,750 feet or so. And then I can see, it's hard to see on camera, but you might see a dark mass ahead. That leads up to peak 1900. And there's another small peak behind it. It's actually on Peak Bagger. That's peak 1694. But I don't know if I'm going to go that far. So I got a nice 300-foot climb once I get back to the saddle to get up to the ridgeline. So it's probably going to be close to 300 feet. Okay, here's the saddle. So I got to climb up this mass here. Should only be maybe about 150, 175 feet of climbing, I believe. So here we go, up the next mountain mass. All right, on my way to peak number 2. I think today I'll keep it as a 2-peak day. Yes, I gotta go back up that. Alright. Ooh, some species of blue curls here. I think it's parish blue curls, I think. Okay, so this trail's gonna go up this way. There's another ridge coming down there. So I'm heading up, and it's gotten thicker again, the overcast. Really sorry I can't point out views on this one, but I mean, it's good to have this cool weather now, because it's going to get obviously hotter as we get further into June. So I'll take the June gloom for temperature's sake. Alright, see you up the way on this one. Yeah, we got parish blue curls growing up here too. It is blooming. Trichostemma parishii. Yes, indeed, it's blooming up here. Very beautiful. Yes, indeed. Smells nice too. It's another mint family plant, although it's not super rare like the San Miguel savory or the heartleaf pitcher sage. So yeah, we got some of that blooming up here too. You can check my spotlight video for that one if you're interested in hearing more about the parish blue curls. I'm just slowly making my way up this slope. Slowly, steadily. It's kind of steep, especially after I've been doing lots of ups and a few downs. Excuse me. Yeah, so worth it though. Ooh, here's a mesa mint. Pogogine. I wonder if that's Pogogine. I wonder if that's a.k.a. mesa mint right there. That small plant. There's Pogogine abramsii, San Diego mesa mint. That might be the a.k.a. mesa mint. Abramsii. I think it's not Abramsii. No. Nudiuscula? I think that might be the a.k.a. mesa mint. That's not a super common plant either. Kind of hard to see on camera. But I think that's what that is. That might be the a.k.a. mesa mint. Pretty rare endemic plant as well. Alright. Catch you on the next clip. Getting near the top of this rise. I'll see if this will be a summit. Okay. So I'm getting near the top of this rise, or at least I think I am. This is the peak west of Jamul Mountain. This one's not on Peak Bagger, nor is it registered on the topo maps. Just watch where I step because I see some of that mesa mint on the ground. Just try to be careful. or I'll step on it. All right. Just about to summit this one, I think. Okay. High Point will be on the trail, I think. There's a stick over there. I don't know if that's just a yucca stalk or if that's actually a marker. Oh. This trail will continue to go downhill and go towards peak 1694. I'm not going to go that far. Hate to call it a minor peak, but this one has more prominence here. So this is peak 1900. High Point is just up there, but I'll use this as my summit selfie spot right here. So when you see this, you're kind of just barely past peak 1900. So let's go ahead and get a summit selfie. Quick 360, but no views to point out. And I'll get moving on. Let's do a quick 360. All right, so I'm going to start by looking roughly east. South. Roughly west. Roughly north. And back to the east. We get a little more water on this one too. Sit down maybe for a few minutes. I have a feeling migrant traffic comes through here because I've seen occasional like backpacks and stuff strewn on the ground. Oh well, time for me to take a quick break and get a sip of water. Right, so the actual high point's right about here, actually. Well, it's hard to tell. I just did my summit selfie over at that post. It's kind of hard to tell what's exactly the high point. But you cross over it when you hit the trail. Like I said, when you're in this area, between here and Jamul Mountain, just be careful where you step because there are some rare native plants. So I'm trying to be very careful where I step. There are some rare plants called, I believe they're probably the Otay Mesa mints. I think it's Pogogene nudiuscula, I think is the botanical name. It's in the genus Pogogene. So I'm just trying to be careful on the way back. It's these small plants here. Yeah, these got to be definitely in the genus Pogogene. Yeah, they're called Mesa. They should be Mesa mints. I believe this is the Otay species. So I'm just trying to watch where I step. There are a lot of them in the trail. So I'm just stepping very carefully. Here's a closer look right here. That's a little fuzzy on camera. They are very, very small plants. With my type of camera, probably not the best resolution for photographing them. But yeah, I think down here would be the Otay species, because there's another species more centralized in San Diego itself, and that's the San Diego Mesa mint. But I think down here is the Otay Mesa mint. Both of them are very rare plants anyways. Both of them are very rare plants. I would expect to see them more by vernal pools instead of an open chaparral like this, but maybe that's just one of their habitats. So I think you can find in your vernal pools as well. I don't see any vernal pool habitat in this area. Look at the fruit on this chaparral yucca. Should be ripening pretty soon. But yeah, it's June, so you know the chamise is blooming. So we still got some wildflowers to see. And yes, those little mesa mints are blooming. Like I said, you're basically going to have to get down on your belly to really see them up close. But yeah, there's a population just a little bit up the hill. So I'm gonna go head down towards the saddle, do that nice little roughly 300-foot trudge back up to the ridge line, and then dip downwards. On the way back, I should be able to get some spotlight videos in. Oh, there's Crocanthamum scoparium right there. Yellow rush rose. Okay, time to head down. I'm just about back at the saddle. Got to gear up for a nice hefty climb up to the ridge line again to get up to the north ridge of Jamul Mountain. Yeah, I definitely got to check cow flora later to see what kind of manzanitas are known from this area. Well, we've got the usual mission manzanita, which is not a surprise, of course. Mission manzanita is very common here in San Diego County, especially coast to lower mountains. So I got to see if Otay manzanita is noted here. All right, the fun is about to begin. Like I said, I think we get a lot of migrant traffic here. Probably, I would assume. But I'm going to start slowly climbing up this, and then it should be mostly downhill the rest of the way back with a few small undulations as long as I'm at the ridge line. So yeah, the Mariposa lilies are finally opening up as we're getting a little bit later on in the late morning hours. Yep, Calocortis weedy variety weedy. Pretty cool. They're starting to open up. Alright, thus begins. And here's a fleabane. I wonder if this is a variant of Erigeron foliosus. Gotta check on that too. Been noticing some of that along the trail from time to time. Yeah, so if you're an amateur or even amateur or professional botanist, no matter what level you are, you'll enjoy the botanical variety on this hike. From the surface, it looks like your typical chaparral, but some people think it's typical. Of course, I don't think that way, but if you know what some of the rare ones look like, you'll be able to easily pick them out. A lot of rare botanical beauty here. A lot of common and rare. So this is a pretty good hike for it. All right, so now I got to go trudge up this hill. Should be the last major uphill of the day. Major uphill, that is. So I'll see you along the way. Pass by some Cleveland sage. All right, up I go. So as I'm heading up, I'm also seeing a lot of Turkish rugging. These small plants with the pinkish whitish flowers. Corazanthe, I believe this is Corazanthe fimbriata, subspecies fimbriata, I believe. I think that's our species here. I'll double check on that as well. But I told you, a lot of botanical awesomeness here. Those are the birds. some warbling going on. All right, away I go up the hill. All right, so I'm taking my time going up this, passing by some more chaparral up here. I'm going up this for a little while. I just took my time. It's steep. You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you want to visit mountain peaks. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. All right. So still got a little ways to go to get to the top of this. Yeah. It's definitely worth it. Sometimes it's worth it not to take the easy way. I'm not gonna lie. Getting back up this is a challenge, especially after I've climbed up quite a ways to get up to the peak over there somewhere. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. All right, keep on climbing up this. See up the way. One thing you'll notice about this area, I pointed out earlier, there is a lot of mund sage up here. Mund sage is actually the predominant sage in this area. There's a lot of it here. Still blooming too. Yes, indeed. It looks kind of intermediate. It kind of looks in between the richer green of black sage and the lighter grayish of the Cleveland sage. So it might be confused with especially Cleveland sage, but the aroma of the mund sage is more I would say harsh, like really hardcore pungent. That pungent sage smell. Similar to black sage, slightly similar to white sage. Doesn't have that perfumey aroma that the Cleveland sage has. And another way you can tell the difference between this and the Cleveland sage is the stage heads are longer. You get longer series of stage heads. On the Cleveland sage, it tends to be more localized at the top, spread out a little bit from the top on the Cleveland sage. And I thought I did see some Cleveland sage on this hike. I might have been mistaken, but I might have. I thought I pointed it out earlier. All right, so I gotta go climb up this hill. This is my next challenge. Just taking my time. I should be up at that hill pretty soon. All right. I think I'm just about to join the ridge line. All right. All right. Okay. So, the summit of Jamul Mountain is just over there. This is the trail leading to that, where I went first. This is the trail from whence I just came, down and up from 1900. Here's the trail back to the car. All right, time to start heading back. All right, time for the decent downhill descent. downhill descent. It's kind of repetitive, but a bit redundant. But here I go. Time to go downhill. Going downhill along this upper portion is going to be very steep in spots. So just mind your steps going down. Alright. Time to go down the North Ridge. Alright. See you down the way. Alright, so I'm starting to head into the steeper part of the descent after a nice brief period of a mellow descent. And back into the Chaparral P again. Chaparral P. I don't know, getting some of the fruits developing here on the spiny redberry. And we got some southern honeysuckle blooming up here. Very nicely too, I may add. Yes. Lonicera subspicata variety denudata. Trying to smell it. Slight fragrance. Yes. And I can see the more of the heartleaf pitcher sage is starting to show up again. So this is where I'm going to have to be extra cautious on my descent, because this is where it gets pretty steep and rocky. When I'm hiking uphill, I feel like I have better control of my feet. When I go downhill, it's easier to get too much momentum and slip. All right. There's some more Southern Mountain Misery. I guess the reason why they call it Mountain Misery is because it's mostly in the foothills and lower mountains, and it rubs up on, and if you rub up on it, the scent gets stuck on you, and it smells like strong hazelnut, like filbert or hazelnut, and it can stick on your clothes for a long time. But it's not really toxic. But if you ever drive in the western foothills of the Sierras, you'll get a very similar fragrance, and it's from its close relative, the Sierra Mountain Misery, which is Camebatia foliolosa, which is a close relative in the genus Camebatia. Another name for mountain misery, and that's for both the southern one, which is this one here, Camebatia australis, and Camebatia foliolosa, would be bear clover. Now, I don't know why it's called clover, because it's not related to clovers. It's in the rose family, actually. It's in the Rosaceae, not related to the clovers, which are in the pea family, the Fabaceae. So I don't know, but maybe it's because bears like it. I don't know. All right, so yeah, we got more Chaparral P out here too. Pretty neat. And heartleaf pitcher sage. So yes, indeed, botanically interesting day out here. All right, I'll see you down the way for more updates. All right, so working on my descent down this very steep portion here. I had to take some time to record a couple plant videos. It's been almost 2 months since my last spotlight video, so I took full advantage of the botany here to aid me in my efforts to document the flora of this beautiful area. Here we go. Again, heartleaf pitcher sage, making this area sweetly aromatic. And of course, its constant companion in Moffic's chaparral, Camebatia australis, southern bear clover, a.k.a. southern mountain misery. Though when I see this plant, when I see it, touch it, and smell it, I hardly think the term misery applies, because it's something I'm very happy to see. I'm the exact opposite of miserable when I see it. Such a great array of rare botany on this trail. It just drives me crazy, and I love it. taking my time going down this extremely steep rutted portion here. This is probably some of the roughest portion of the trail you'll experience today. But first, here we go again. Another rare piece of botanical awesomeness. Clenopodium chandleri, the beautiful, venerable San Miguel savory. San Miguel savory. Nice patches of it along here. What a magical place this is. Another one of our awesomely fragrant plants growing here. And it doesn't just grow in the chaparral, it also grows in the woodlands. San Miguel savory, I first saw it in Orange County, is where I first saw it, because it does have a population of it. There's a population of it near Blue Jay Campground in the Santa Ana Mountains. And along the San Juan Trail, you'll see portions of it there. You'll see some San Miguel savory along that trail near the campground and down the way from it. It's another awesome mint family plant. Tiny flowers, really tiny. You really have to get up to them closely. What an awesome plant. I had this growing once. I didn't grow it. I didn't germinate it myself. I ordered it online from Las Piolitas Nursery. Had it for a while. Eventually, though, it gave out, unfortunately. Alright, so I'm just watching my step going down this. This is very, very gnarly, this part. I knew the downhill part was going to be the craziest part. What a beautiful trail this is. Gosh. Wow. And of course, it looks like we got Solanum xanthi, I believe here. Parish nightshade. Or is it? No, Solanum parishii, I think. I'm going to call it Solanum xanthi. That's a possibility, but I'm pretty sure it's parishii. Yeah, a lot of heartleaf pitcher sage. Once you start getting into the chaparral portion of this hike, which is the mid and upper portion of it, is where you're going to come across most of the rare botany. Just about all the rare botany I saw today was on the chaparral portion of this hike. The coastal sage scrub portion didn't really see. I don't remember seeing really any rare botany there, but still beautiful down there too. So yeah, I'm wondering if that's Otay manzanita. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Eastwood manzanita is a factor here. And here's more of the chaparral pea, Picaringia montana variety tomatosa. Still blooming. If I came here in May, this would have been, half of this hillside would have been purple. Wherever it was growing, wherever the shrubs are, would be covered in purple. But, alright, well, I'm going to keep trekking down this. Keep my eye out for some more botanical interests. It ain't gonna be that hard and that far to walk to see it. We are back by these matiliha poppies. Yep, these are the hairy ones. The rounded shaped flower bud, the bristly outside, and the lack of a big beak, like a little beak protrusion, tells me this is Rhamnia trichocalyx. We still have a few flowers left. Few flowers left on it. Enjoy it while we have it. Last month would have probably been peak season to get here. Last month would have been peak season to get these plants in bloom. But I still made it up here to see some of it. Yep, we've got a nice little population of matiliha poppy up here too. And we still got a lot of blooms here on the deer brooms. The Acmispon glauber variety glauber. Kind of checking to make sure it wasn't breviolatus, because there's another variant called breviolatus, which is the desert deer broom. I think that was the coastal one. Okay, so yeah, it's predominantly Mun sage higher up, but we do have Cleveland sage here too. And I was mentioning earlier the difference between the Mun sage and the Cleveland sage. See, the colors are kind of similar. It's a lightish color. However, the flowers on the Cleveland sage are mostly concentrated near the top. Not a whole bunch of staged heads going up, but mostly at the top. And the sweeter aroma is also a giveaway that we're dealing with Cleveland sage here. But you see, these are old flower heads. You don't see a bunch of little ball-shaped seed heads. That's how you can tell this is Cleveland sage without smelling it. But the fragrance of it is just obvious. So yeah, so there are at least 3 different types of sages here. A related pitcher sage. Man, what more can you want? Just a very beautiful place. Really enjoying this downhill stretch where I'm just botanizing. See, here we go. Here's Mun sage again. More pungent smell. And again, look how many more seed heads there are going up and down the stem. Yep, so this is Mun sage. Looks kind of similar to Cleveland sage. All right. And we still have a lot of golden yarrow. A lot of golden yarrow still going on. Eriophyllum confertiflorum, variety confertiflorum, still blooming up here. What a magical place this is. Oh boy. Boy, I really hit the jackpot on this hike. Boy. Man. Whoo-wee. I really hit the botanical jackpot on this one. Alright, enough yapping and more descending. It's going to get steep here, so I got to kind of watch my step. We are starting to descend a little bit below. Starting to see some views open up. Fortunately, way too late for me to really point anything out. If you know me, I like to do my viewfinder on the top of the peaks. Ah, dang. Oh well. It's either this or come up here when it's 90 degrees. And no thanks to that. And if I came here during the cool months of winter, nothing would have been in bloom. So, I'll take the botany any day over the views. Oh, look at that large red velvet ant. Oh, that's a pretty big one. Oh, look at that. Dasyamutilla areola, I believe. That's the largest one I've seen. So that's a female. There are no wings on it. That's a wasp. It says the common name is velvet ant, but that's a wasp. Wasps are related to ants. But that's a female. Very beautiful. The males actually are winged, and they can fly. I've seen them. Once, in the Laguna Mountains, I saw some males flying. A couple of them. But I almost always come across the females scurrying along the ground. And these types of hikes out in the open chaparral are great places to see them. I'm gonna be kind of sad to leave the chaparral behind. This has been an incredible hike in the chaparral, especially because of the rare plants. When I get back in the sage scrub, it won't be as much rare stuff, but there'll be some beautiful laurel sumacs in the area. So there's always something to look forward to. If you're a plant lover like me, who loves just about anything he or she sees, if you're like me, who likes everything he sees walking around, I like everything I see when I walk around. I'm very easily entertained because I like to come with a positive frame of mind. So I was at first false summit right there. The one I was thinking, oh, no way is this it. No way, it wasn't it. I can kind of see Jamul Butte. It's kind of hard to see on camera. That pointy peak you might barely be able to see. That was what I attempted 2 weeks ago. Didn't get up there. I visited a couple of really small knolls in the area. Because I got to a part where it was all barbed wire fence. No openings in the fence. Which to me meant I'm not shredding my stuff up. I'm not shredding my clothes up and scraping my belly or legs trying to get through it. I'm pretty sure that area, I think that area was fenced off for cattle. I think it's a cattle grazing area. B, I wasn't 100% sure if it were private property. I think that's no, that's not my second peak. I think that's peak 1694, I think. I was hoping these clouds would lift up a little bit more so I can get pictures of the peaks. I think that would have been the third peak I visited if I were to go that way. I think that's peak 1694. But I can actually see the route underneath me, so navigating my way back should not be a problem. So yeah, I think that's peak 1694. That might be 1694. I'm not sure. No, it might be on the other side too. It might be on the other side. It might actually be over more that way. Might be something different. All right. Wow, what a cool mountain range this is. Sometimes the coolest, greatest stuff you'll find will be in the smaller mountain ranges. Yeah, you can see Campo Road down there. Campo Road. Rancho Jamul Drive. Like I said, that's where I went 2 weeks ago to try to hike up to Jamul Butte, which would have been really cool to get up there. But I wasn't sure what the ownership situation was behind that barbed wire fence, A, and B, I was not willing to shred everything to get over it, whether or not. This does not sound appetizing. So now we finally get a view of the west side as the cloud layer has lifted a little bit. It's a little higher than it was. That must be a really small peak there. I will have to look into some other routes to maybe get to some of the other summits in the area. There are a bunch of other smaller peaks. I gotta admit though, I hit the bigger one. I hit the big one today. Jamul Mountain. And one of its sidekicks, peak 1900. I think there are a couple other 18 and 1900 foot peaks in the area. Look how low the chaparral is here. Kind of cool actually. Nice little small carpet of chaparral. It's kind of cool. Little tiny chemise. All right. I'm gonna keep going down. Well, got a little uphill. I have a couple of uphill stretches, but it ain't gonna be that bad. Pretty short. Let's see along the way. So I'm back up by where I saw that weird rock pile covered in sticks. It's just over there. I'm not going to bother going over towards it again. It's kind of weird. I'm going to get some views over towards some of the peaks I hiked 3 weeks ago. Right over that way. Peak 1463 with the flag on it. Peak 1400, and just barely scraped by the clouds is Lexington Peak. That was 3 weeks ago. So I've really been spending a lot of time in the Jamul vicinity. There's a reason why. There's a lot of cool peaks and places you can visit in this general area. I'm glad we have the San Diego National Wildlife Refuge to allow access to some of these spots. Now, over by San Miguel, that's a different story. San Miguel's over there, way above the base of the clouds. San Miguel Mountain is basically all, I think, a combination of private property and just off limits to the general public. So, yeah, this is another one for the books. Another awesome day out here in the hills. Now, like I said, I have a few more hills and small hills and dales. Do have a couple, but I think this is the last real steep part right here. And even this wasn't as bad as some of the other spots were. But all right, see you down the way. What a beautiful place this is. Alright, so we're just about out of the chaparral, going into the coastal sage scrub, and we do have some more botany to point out. First off, we're talking about weeds Mariposa lily. Now we got some chewed up, splendid Mariposa lily, Calocorta splendens. And, kind of missed this on the side of the trail, but we got some Canchalawa, some Ziltnera venusta. Beautiful. And the rattling sound of a wren-tit bird. So we're just about crossing back into coastal sage scrub now. As you see, I'm leaving the chamise behind. And now, predominantly California sagebrush. And now we're in the predominant white sage portion. The lower portion, this is predominantly white sage. The upper portion being predominantly mun sage, with occasional Cleveland sage popping up here and there. So now we're back in coastal sage scrub. I'm getting the aromas of the white sage and California sagebrush. California sagebrush kind of just swirling around and enticing my nose with their characteristic, beautiful scents that are even more enhanced when it's damp out. Yeah, from here on back to the car, it's going to be a lot of white sage. And we've pretty much left the chaparral behind. And there's one chamise here. Yeah, occasionally chamise will pop up in coastal sage scrub as well, but usually not far from where there is adjacent chaparral near the area. So yeah, occasionally a chamise will pop up in coastal sage scrub, but usually when that happens, you can usually bet that chaparral is not far away. And that was the truth. What a gorgeous place, man. And even down here in the sage scrub, without all those crazy amounts of rare plants, it's still a very beautiful hike. And if you get here before the worst of the dry season, July through November, there'll still be some green on the California sagebrush, and the aromas will be nearly overwhelming. But I mean that in a good way. They do smell very nice. There's Jamul Butte again. It's that cone-shaped peak in the background. I tried to climb that 2 weeks ago, which ended up, again, barbed wire fence at the base of it, or just above the base of it. And I wasn't trying to either A, trespass onto some unknown property, or B, tear my clothes to shreds trying to get through a barbed wire fence. I respect myself enough for that. I'm very much a peak-hungry hiker, peak-hungry climber, but not hungry enough to rip my skin and clothes to shreds. I'm good on that. Especially if it is private property out there. I don't know. Yeah. Much gentler trail. And here's some more splendid Mariposa lily. There's actually a bee sleeping in there. If you see carefully. I'm not going to disturb it too much, but it looks like there's a bee sleeping in there. Sometimes you'll see bees sleeping in flowers. So be careful when you get up close to a flower. Just make sure there's no bee in there sleeping, that you don't want to disturb it or hurt it or get yourself stung. But yeah. And of course our dominant woody shrub, or dominant large woody shrub, of course, Malosma laurina, the laurel sumac, is our dominant large shrub now. Let's see where this leads. Maybe this leads to an overlook. Yeah, that's looking over towards Jamul Mountain, and there's probably peak 1900 over there. Oh, look at that beautiful laurel sumac. That's a handsome specimen right there. I'm not sure where this goes, so I'm not going to take it, because I don't know where it goes. I just basically studied the route to get to the top of the peak here, and peak 1900. All right, I'm going to keep on heading off, and I'll see you on the next update. Alright, so if you're like me, who like to go raw when doing hikes, meaning don't have a lot of technological companions other than my camera and my cell phone, which is a basic flip phone, by the way, you got to pay attention. There are trail junctions through the area. But basically what you can do is just follow trails that lead up towards that small community, and you should be able to find your way back. Yeah, I can almost see the peaks. The cloud layer is lifting and starting to open up a little bit. The sun did peek out a little bit. All right. I'm climbing this small hill here. You can kind of see the peaks a little bit. Hopefully when this lifts up a little bit more, maybe I can get some pictures of it for my thumbnail. All right, keep on going. I think I'm going down a slightly different way than I went up. Let's see. Yeah, I think I went up a different way. Might be a slight loop element to this hike. I might have gone up slightly different. A little patch of rocks over there. That doesn't look too familiar. A toy on there that doesn't look familiar. Well, I guess I'll be... Yeah, this will be a little bit more of an adventure. Well, I guess this is going to be a longer video than I thought, because I've had to start another set of memory. Oh boy, yeah, it's gonna be a long video. So Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm a little off track right now, but not lost in the sense of I'm not going to be able to get myself out of here. Just probably going down a little bit further east than where I came up. See a trail down there anyways. Well, if I see that one fence where it says closed area to motor vehicles, then I'll assume that I came the same way, but I'm not really that worried. It's all right. I ain't got to work tomorrow. I already got the hardest part of the day, climbing up all those peaks, climbing up those couple of peaks, and climbing back over, nearly resummiting Jamul Mountain. There's the Jamul Casino. So I'm really not that far from it. So let's see. I should be able to see. I can see the eastern part of that community. I should be able to link up with a trail going roughly west to get me back towards the end of that small tract where I'll be parked right by that gate. So this one might be a little tougher for me to map out on my hiking map. But I definitely put in some miles today, I would think. Definitely. It's worth it. It's really nice out here. The way back's been ever since I got down from the upper portions, the higher portions of the peak, it's been a very gentle, mostly gentle downhill. After I got past the chaparral, it's been a pretty gentle descent. I think maybe I did go up this way. Maybe this is the same way I went up. I think I'm over near where that gate is, or not gate, but where the opening in that fence is. I think this is the way I went up. I don't see my footprints in the soil, but I assume this is probably the same way. I see the barbed wire fence. It looks like the same one. Yeah, I think this is the same one. See if this is the same one. I think I remember that broken piece over there, I think. So this has that little sign. Yeah. This is the same way. Okay. So eventually, I'm going to have to find a trail that goes along that way, kind of stays away from the homes, and work my way over there. Yeah, this looks like the same way now. Alright, well, see you on the next clip. Alright, so I think I'm just about back at the trail that I'm going to need to take west for a while. Alright, let's see. Alrighty then. away I go. So yes, another velvet ant. Slightly smaller than the last one. She's a beauty. Okay, down I go. Alright, so I'm descending, and now I'm kind of bottom out in this small swale here. Look at that handsome laurel sumac. That's a beauty right there. So I'm heading northwest right now. I'll have to keep an eye out for a trail going back that way too. Been very peaceful. Not another soul today. You can almost see the peaks now. Almost see them. Peak 1900 is behind that one. Jamul Mountains over there. So yeah, cloud layers probably at about 1,800 feet base. More of San Miguel Mountain starting to show up too. All right. Look for my next navigational aid. I'll keep you updated. To imagine I was all the way up on that one and the one behind that one. Yep. It's one of those look how far I hiked moments. And I was all the way up on those hills there. Pretty cool. It's been a very gentle descent all the way back. Now I gotta start looking for a trail that's gonna head north and get me back to the parking area. Let's see. Alright. Let's see. Okay, here's another junction here. I'll take this one down. I don't know if this is exactly when I went up. I just need to get on the left side of that development over there. Yeah. Go down into this little dip here and see. I don't know if I went this way. I don't think I did. I think I'm a little bit off course for how I came up. I mean, I'm still heading roughly towards my destination, which is my car, but it's a little different. I'm gonna see the trail going down that way. Interesting. Alright, let me keep focused a little bit and see what's going on. Here's another gate opening there. I'm gonna follow this. place is a little bit different than I came. Very pretty down here. Let's see if this takes me back around. Wow, look how big this laurel sumac is. This thing is massive. Wow, nice little canyon here. Just trying to see where this path leads. Hopefully it leads me back to where I entered this preserve land. We'll see. Man, this is very beautiful over here too. Laurel sumac shrubland. Yeah, I'm definitely off track from where I came up. Wow. Roughly following this to the west. So I should be able to eventually intersect something that heads north. Very beautiful here. Lots of laurel sumac out here. You can see an olive tree off in the distance. Yeah, this small valley here, it's got lots of very mature specimens of laurel sumac. It's almost like a little woodland of laurel sumac. Technically, woodland would be characterized more by trees than shrubs, but definitely gives off a woodland-like vibe. A lot of laurel sumac down here. One thing that was oddly missing is sugar bush. Surprised not to see that out here. Kind of surprised, actually. Oh well. Still pretty nice. Some of these laurel sumacs are massive. Yeah, these are big ones too. These are not slouchers in the size department. Alright. So all I gotta do is look out for a trail that's gonna march off to the north. Probably soon, I would assume. So I'm thinking pretty far progress to the west. So I'm gonna keep a lookout for a trail branching off that way. Let's hope that one comes up soon so I know I'm heading the right way. I say there are a lot of trails in and around this area. So I'll just keep my eyes focused on trying to find those. Alright, enough yapping. More track finding. Yeah, well, definitely not anywhere near where I intended to come out. This is actually leading me away from where I parked, I think. Because I can see the trail I took 2 weeks ago over there. I might have to. Wait, here's a path over here. I think I was gonna maybe have to hike cross country. Let's see where this leads. This is gonna lead way past my trailhead, I think. So I can see kind of where the trailhead is for hiking up to Lexington Peak up there. I think I went way off this time, I think. Not sure, but I might have. Let's see if that's the case. Well, I know I'm near civilization because of the trees, but that was interesting. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I'm way off base here. I think. Very different over here. Eucalyptus comodolensis grove. Yeah, I'm way off base over here. I am way off. Yeah, I'm way off. There's some small meadow area. Okay. Wow, I really missed the mark on the way back. I really missed the mark. Beautiful trees, though. That's a nice size Eucalyptus comodolensis. That's a pretty big one. So I still got to make my way over to Jamul off of Proctor Valley. Let's see. Sure looks like I'll have a little bit of a loop configuration to this hike, an accidental one. Pretty close to Proctor Valley Road. More of these spiny rushes down here too. I suspect that I'm not super far from where I parked, but I'll find out. Kind of loop it backwards a little bit. Might be a vernal pool here in season. Let's see. I suspect probably not that far from where I parked. I'm not going to assume it yet. We'll see. Find out more when I'm there, hopefully. Or up that way. We'll see. Alright, so I suspect I'm getting pretty close to where I parked. Albeit the long way. Look at this. Whole field of Yerba Mansa, Anamopsis californica, all in bloom. Yes. Now, these are not the petals. These are bracts, so these are modified leaves. It's a whole system of flowers right here. All those green things, those are the flowers. Yeah, this is Anamopsis californica. Loves these wetlands. So there must be a lot of underground moisture here, and during the rainy season, above ground moisture. So I think I'm pretty close to where I entered. Yeah, I think I see my Jeep. My car is over there. So I'm not that far away. So I ended up, instead of cutting through to the north, I ended up going west around a grove of eucalyptus trees through another sign, another open gate or open fence. There's another thing that said closed area, no motor bikes and stuff. Just one of those. And it's leading back to where all these spiny rushes are. And a thick Brazilian pepper tree thicket. A pretty big one. Whole thicket. So, Yeah, I remember all these southwestern spiny rushes from earlier. Well, it should meet up with a trail. I can see my car over there. So here we go. So I did make a little bit of a loop around. This is where I entered. That's where I went that way. So this is from whence I came, right here. Just watch out, these things are spiny tipped. All right. See you at the end of this. All right. Just about back at the road. Car's parked right there. Almost camouflaged with the fence. I'll just go over this way because it leads me right to my car. But the gate I entered to start is right there. Little trick. Just there you go, easy access. There's where I'm parked. And this is gonna just about do it for me on this hike. Definitely tired after this. So I think it's time to head home and get some rest. Some other days off this week that I want to take to do some hiking. So that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the adventure. And I'll see you on my next hike.